Hey all, Taves here, back playing some more Planet Zoo, and it is the first weekend of the new DLC's release, so the Twilight pack has arrived. Massive thank you to Frontier for their continued support, and thank you very much for the early access. Really appreciate it. So I have been tinkering away with this one for a little while, decided not to release it on kind of release day. Sort of decided that always seems better for kind of your general update of what's in the pack type videos, and I decided I didn't really want to do one of those this time. I've been busy building. So we are busy building in Tiguidou, and as you'll have seen from the thumbnail, this is the Red Fox. The Red Fox has arrived in this pack, and we have got there's a whole selection. There's been some mixed reception for this. There's been some mixed reception, I think, before the pack came out, but since the pack came out, lots of really good responses. So yeah, if you haven't seen one of those videos, there's loads of them. There's loads of people who have done update videos about the animals specifically, about the pieces, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, so find one of those. We have got the raccoon, the skunk, the wombat, the red fox, and the bat, and some really cool changes to the exhibit boxes and stuff. And there's a significant change to the fact that there's now a much larger walkthrough exhibit box that the bats are going to be in. I'm not sure I'm going to use the bat box quite yet. I'm really hoping that at some point in the future, Frontier continue to kind of tinker with the exhibit boxes and we get something that's a bit smaller. The bats would be kind of cool in Tiguidou, but the box itself is so big that I'm really struggling to kind of find a way of using it. I don't really want to dig a great big hole, which is kind of what you're forced to do, because it's sort of forcing you to make a bat cave, as it were. So I might do that, I don't know. Yes, if you're holding out on kind of getting this pack, it's a really good one. I would say that the animals themselves, as ever, the animals from Frontier, are always super amazing. But we have got also some really good new building pieces. So I've cleared this area in the corner, right over in the corner of Tiguidou. We're just next to the badgers, actually. And I decided this is going to be part one of several parts for this construction. So this is the new night house, which is I kind of decided, I actually played around with this idea quite some time ago when I was building for the badgers, because badgers don't really generally come out in the day. So they tend to be the sorts of animals that if you're seeing them in a zoo, nocturnal animals tend to be inside so that the zoos can trick them into thinking it's nighttime in the day. So that's what they do. They trick the animals into thinking it's nighttime so that they come out and that peeps can see them. So yeah, we've created this new building set. You've seen me create this new building set at the beginning of the speed build there, and I've used it to create this great big structure, which looks a bit rubbish at the moment, a bit kind of daunting and epic and huge and unsupported roof and all that sort of thing. But you'll see it all come together. You won't see an enormous amount actually in the speed build, because most of that will be in the real-time tour. What tends to be a bit of a problem when you're doing highly detailed work is that it's quite difficult to keep the camera still, and when you're doing a speed build, it's quite hard to not make people feel sick, I find. So because I'm down in the detail here, I thought maybe I just would keep this one a lot quicker. It's also a bit of a thing when you're trying to get there's always a bit of a thing that you want to play the game a bit. The DLC's just come out. Try and get your video out fairly early. I'm already late because everybody else got their videos out on the first few days, and here I am at the weekend. But hey, this is pretty good for me. So yeah, so you'll see much more of the detail. The long and the short of that story, that ramble, is that you'll see much more of the detail when we do the tour. And actually you're getting a kind of you're going to get a first glimpse at what this building's going to end up being. I did kind of play around with the idea of doing this as one big episode and have all the animals that I was going to put in this night house all done in one episode, but just kind of felt like it was going to be really long. And I don't generally like having really long episodes. Last episode was quite long, so I thought I'd keep this one a bit shorter. So we have created these little inside areas, and the trick with a night house is it's got to feel like the inside spaces, even though they're inside spaces, they've got to feel like they're real. So they're like actual kind of biomes. So that's the really tricky bit. And then I decided, actually, just purely by coincidence, in the last episode, I released the whole thing about, my whole kind of cabins section. And that was totally by coincidence. So it then occurred to me, it was like, well, I can actually have outside spaces, because technically I've got guests that will be in the zoo overnight and after dark. So wouldn't that be really fun? So I created myself some little outside spaces for the animals as well. Like the one thing I would say, these animals are really good and the models are really good, but I have to say, I'm tiny little bit disappointed, and I've not seen anyone say this yet, but these are supposed to be nocturnal animals. So wouldn't it have been really cool for us to actually see some behaviour that indicates that they're nocturnal animals? I don't think nocturnal animals is quite the right word. It's like crepuscular or something I've heard from a bunch of people. But wouldn't it have been cool if the animals actually kind of sought the dark? So when you've got an inside space, they'll be tempted to be more inside when it's day and outside when it's night. Wouldn't that have been cool? I just thought that would have been really fun. So anyway, I've created this outside space for them, and we're actually coming to the end of the speed build already. I've rambled on, but I'll join you again in about 30 seconds or something, and we'll do the real-time tour. And there's loads of details, and I'm actually really proud of it inside. So join you again in a second, guys. Right, peeps, welcome back to the tour. So we are just over by the timber wolves over here. Oh, massive jumping timber wolves over there, just to give you some context of where we are in the zoo. So the fallow deer habitat just over there, and this is where we added this little kind of bandstand section some time ago. It's definitely feeling a little bit more framey now. Gonna have to be pausing it soon. I think this area in particular is a little laggy. I don't know if it's that fence or what. It could be that fence. The badgers. So there's this new area, and there's your first reveal of the night house. So we have a little information stand here with a ranger just hanging out. And then we come up here. So as you saw in the speed build, cleared this whole area out. It's a bit more interesting now. Might put a few of the trees back in, but we shall see. So I just scattered a few of these little random sort of smaller shelters in. I might put an animal in that, I'm not sure. Might do what I've done down by the platypuses and just put a chick or something in. So there's the actual night house itself, and as you saw from the speed build, it is quite a big old building. Actually, it's quite surprisingly how much space there is inside. So what we have on the right is the outside space for the foxes, and as I said, it's daytime, so they're not out here. They're inside. They're chilling inside in the nice secluded darkness of their inside space. But so I've kept that pretty rough, and I decided to make this glass rather than the mesh, because foxes obviously will bite your fingers. So rather than you leave a kind of gap here, I thought I'd just use the glass. And then we've got one in progress here. So this is under construction sort of area. Oh, hello. Right, so let's go inside. We'll scoot around back this way. And decided to make a little bit of a feature of this. I decided it was kind of an area that had been cleared, so some nice sunlight, little kind of meadowy feel there. And then that path continues down, but there'll be some more changes to that side of the road as we go on. So I just decided to kind of play with this quite a lot. Quite played around with it. Thought it'd be fun just to do this kind of little airlock system. So it's all supposed to be the kind of starry night type deal. Let's push on inside. So as we come inside through the door, you'll see. Oh, hello. Excuse me. So I wanted this to feel, I don't know, it seems like a much more modern space for Tiguidou, but kind of like the idea of it being that facade being still, kind of log wood style, and then everything in here is a bit more modern looking. I thought it'd be quite impactful. So yeah, a few information boards. We've got like a little geometric fox here. There'll be more as I add more of them. And as you can see, there's like a bunch of other spots that are under construction. So I haven't finished the whole building, but you're getting the kind of the first taste of it. So there's the foxes inside. So what I decided to do was give them sort of like mixed biomes. So they've got this little first section here where you look in. It's supposed to be kind of forest flory. Foxes are really kind of diverse animals. So they can be in urban landscapes. They, quite often see them in my area, walking around on the street. So they've got this little space here. It's quite small, but as I said in the speed build, I feel like sometimes you just kind of want to make these little small spaces for them. They have got a burrow there. Haven't actually seen them use that yet, but we shall see. So yeah, I thought this would just be like, I wanted to make it feel kind of industrial in here. Obviously it wants to feel like it's quite lit. No windows, no natural light and stuff, so kind of important to make sure it's got that kind of feel of a night house. So if we just push our way, just push a bit closer up to the glass so we can see what they're doing in there. So they have got like a little section here, and then they can go through that little gap. And so because the keepers can't get through that little gap, then there's a door over this way, just an implied door over that way that leads them through, and they come up a little ramp that you can't see back there. Another little geometric fox. And then you'll see over here we've got this kind of like big focal point, this tree. The idea of this being that it's all supposed to feel like it's like you're kind of below the tree line, like in a forest or something. These are actually blue. These are actually green, but because of the light, it feels like it's I feel like they're clouds, but in the daytime you can see they're actually green. So it's supposed to be that you're underneath the sort of trees. So yeah, a bit of education talking about the characteristics of animals that are nocturnal. So sharp eyes and acute hearing. And very vocal foxes as well. They've got lots of vocalizations. It's definitely one. If you have never experienced a fox crying in the night, it's quite a thing. I remember from my childhood many times waking up thinking someone was being attacked outside, and it was a fox screaming. So yeah, I think once this has all kind of come together and these are all filled out, then this will feel really cool in here. Hopefully you appreciate the efforts anyway so far. And I think the foxes are really good. Like, they've got some really cool animations. I mean, they're based on the kind of fennec fox and arctic fox animations that we had before, but like, I already really like them. I think I have to say, I personally think Planet Zoo does the canines better than any other animals. So any of those like foxes and wolves and those sorts of things all just look so good. Dingoes and whatever. So that is the end of this one, guys. Very much appreciate you hanging out. As I said, it's a shorter episode this week, but hopefully, because the jump onto the next episode is obviously going to just be continuation of Inside This Building, then it shouldn't be too long. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again for Frontier for providing me the access. If you haven't already grabbed this pack, guys, I would say defo go out and grab it. There's some like super surprising, useful little pieces, as well as some amazing animals. My name is Toves. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.